think most people in Australia refer to the war in Syria as a civil war.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Most people in the West, really, all journalism in the West speaks about Syrian civil war, which I believe is the most misleading phrase ever. You are in Syria now, Mrs. Dargham. You can travel in Syria and see there is no civil war in Syria. In fact, despite all their efforts to try and sow the seeds of sectarianism in Syria and to try and speak about different sects in different ways, the Syrian people came out of this war more united, believing more in the fact that they are Syrian and that there's only one God, and that all the sects and all the people have different faiths, but they belong to one God. So not a single incident happened. In Tartus, for example, there were 2 million people, displaced people, who came from Idlib, from Aleppo. Most of these people are women and children. Their men were fighting against the government in Idlib and in Raqqa, but nobody ever said to them a bad word. And when they, at school, when they asked the boy, for example, 10 years old boy, where's your father? He says, in al jihad, which means al jihad against us. But nobody ever, they went to the same schools, they lived in the same places, in the same areas, they got their jobs, they invested their money. Nobody ever said a word to them, not only in Tartus, in Latakia, anywhere. The Syrian people have a great sense of solidarity with each other. Otherwise, we would not be able to stand all these sanctions and still be alive. But people help each other, they support each other, they give each other. Honestly, many needy people came to my office during this war. And when I asked for volunteers or for money for somebody who wants to do an operation, or nobody ever asked me, is this a Christian or is this a Muslim? This question never comes at all. They help the person regardless of who he is, to what faith he belongs. And so the war in Syria was a war planned and executed by agents of Western countries. War on the border was a lot much easier because this war came to every borough of our cities and of our villages. And it is obvious now, I tell you, that the problem in Idlib, the basic problem in Idlib, is that they don't know where to go with these terrorists whom they brought. You remember in the east of Euphrates, in France, they took some children back to France because there were fighters with the French nationalities, with Belgian nationalities, and there was a big outcry in France that how could you bring these terrorists back? And so the parliament then agreed to take the women and children, but not to take the men who have French nationality. So there's no doubt that it was the West who cooperated in order to bring all these terrorists into our country. And now the reason why Idlib is not resolved, because they don't know where to go with 50,000 terrorists. They sent them here. They couldn't achieve their target. What are they going to do with them now? That is the problem. So there's no civil war in Syria. The Syrian people are united, hopefully, in trying to rebuild their country.